Congresswoman Claudia Tenney. Congresswoman Tenney, thank you so much for joining. Initially, you pushed back as well on these the adjustments to SALT. Initially, it was going to be no state and local tax deductions. Right. Something was carved out. A compromise was carved out. Obviously, that was enough for you. But what about your 6 New York and 4 New Jersey colleagues?
Yeah, it's look, my district is a very poor district. We have a lot of outmigration of people and jobs. We were once the home base for IBM. It was founded there. Many other iconic businesses, Remington Arms, Revere Manufacturing, a number of businesses in my community have left. So have people because of the oppressive tax burden coming from Albany. And as someone who served in the state assembly, I know how difficult it is for our local governments and our school districts to suffer under Albany's crushing tax burden and unfunded mandates, which have left 8 of my counties in the top 36 highest tax counties based on percentage of value in the nation. That's unacceptable, and that's Albany's problem, not the federal government. We did come back and argue and fight to get some, and it was a tough process to fight to get the restoration of the so-called state and local tax deduction up to $10,000, not just for property now, it's for income, sales, and a net amount. We also fought to bring back the child care credit, the dependent care credit for people like me. I mean, I raised my son as a single parent. I took care of my aging and elderly parents across the street. And so we've given a bailout, basically, for people. I don't want to call it a bailout, maybe a lifeline. Sure. To oppress New Yorkers on a number of fronts. The medical expenses, many other things were added back, you know, purely by the sheer and the fight on members like me and other members in New York. Yeah. And quite honestly, this tax bill is going to do very well for our low and middle income taxpayers. It's going to be tough on high paying or high tax New Yorkers, people who make a lot of money, unlike what Chuck and Nancy are saying. Yeah, I mean, I do find it ironic that that they're complaining that Nancy Pelosi is complaining about someone who has a mortgage over $750,000. I mean, you talk about a total disconnect from most of America when your average mortgage, your average home value is only $247,000. But having said that, I do believe there's more of a compassionate component to this than a traditional Republican bill would have seen. But there's also no spending cuts and some other Republican orthodoxy that's missing from this. Overall, do you think this will have the sort of impact that sways the American public that to give Republicans the vote in 2018 so that they can make additional changes to the tax code? Yes, I think it's actually going to produce fairly quick growth and also some immediate impact on taxpayers who are going to see it right away on their paycheck when they're going to actually be paying less or even in some cases no federal income tax. So that's going to be good, and we're hoping that the Democrats will finally get on board and see that this is a really important step they need to take to help our taxpayers, especially in New York, to provide permanent relief on the permanent side. As you know, the corporate side is permanent because we needed to give corporations that incentive to make sure they invest for the long term. We've ended the cronyism of Andrew Cuomo. He's famous for that in New York State, which spends $8 billion on cronyism. And then they turn around and say, why are we losing jobs? Why are we last in economic resiliency? Why are we dead last in business friendliness? It's because of our policies. And these are the policies, obviously, too, that promote income inequality. Also, absolutely. Representative Tenney, wage growth. Thank you very much. I'm sorry we've run out of time, but I do appreciate you coming on always. Thank you.